Welcome, Senator Ted Cruz. We haven't heard from you yet, Senator, but I just want to pose it this way, if I may. They don't really want an open convention, do they? They're trying to stack it again. They're trying to force Kamala Harris in there and then offer the American people sort of a Biden-light candidate. Isn't that what's going on now?
Look, that's exactly right. They want a coronation, but today is an historic day. There has never been anything like this in the history of our country. We are 106 days away from the general election. We have never had one of the two major party candidates pulled from the ballot. And sadly, this was predictable. And not only was it predictable, but I got to say, I predicted this 10 months ago on my podcast, Verdict with Ted Cruz. I said the Democrats are going to pull Joe Biden off the ballot. And at the time, Mark, you'll remember this, the corporate media said that I was a tinfoil hat-wearing conspiracy theory nut. That would never happen. I predicted it 10 months ago. I also predicted it the night of the presidential debate. That night, I did a special podcast that night. And that night I said, this will go down as the most consequential presidential debate in American history. Why? Because I believe this debate will change the names on the ballot in November. I think it is unavoidable that the Democrats will pull Joe Biden from the ballot. It will take about 3 weeks for this to happen. Well, it happened today. And why did it happen? Look, I think it speaks volumes. It did not happen because Joe Biden is mentally incompetent. It did not happen because he's not fit to be commander-in-chief. That was true in 2021. That was true in 2022. That was true in 2023. And it's true today. And every Democrat knew it. When you played Kamala Harris right there in that interview, she was lying every minute and every word that came out of her mouth. She knew he was mentally incompetent. The Democrats don't mind that. The reason they bailed on him is at the debate, suddenly the American people saw unavoidably that he was mentally incompetent. And the reason you saw senators and House members and you saw donors and Hollywood and journalists all jumping ship had nothing to do with having a man with dementia with his finger on the nuclear button. The reason they jumped ship is once the American people realized that he was incompetent, they were afraid they're going to lose. So we're now seeing the party circling the wagons around Kamala Harris. They want a coronation. There may be some other people who squawk, but listen, the Democrat Party is a bean-counting party. Kamala Harris is an African-American woman. They cannot replace her with a white guy. Gavin Newsom is not going to be the nominee. Their party would spontaneously implode if they tried to do that. Now, I do think Kamala will pick a really boring, middle-of-the-road white guy as their vice president, because, again, in Democrat Party DEI calculus, all that matters is your race or gender or what particular box you fall into. But this is designed to jam the same failed policy we've seen for the last 4 years, to keep trying to jam it down the throats of the American people.
But why would we rely on or trust the very people who just stole the election from all those primary voters, who demonstrate that they are autocrats, not Democrats, and who now want to take Kamala Harris, who isn't even qualified to be vice president, and put her in the presidency? These very same people, they're giddy, they're on TV. Oh, look what we've accomplished, look what we've done. They've screwed the American people.
They did, and listen, they don't care. For them, it is all about power. It's not about democracy. It's not about doing what's right. By the way, every Democrat today knows Joe Biden has dementia. Is any one of them calling for him to step down as president now? No. If we're suddenly involved in a war, if a nuclear missile is fired at us, Joe Biden is probably at home in bed right now. Someone will bring him warm milk, but they don't mind at all. And Kamala, listen, this is all about continuing the same disastrous policies. Kamala is the border czar. Every Democrat is complicit in the inflation, in the assault on energy, in the open borders, in the assault on law enforcement. Every Democrat is complicit in abandoning Israel, in sending $100 billion to Iran, in funding our enemies. These are their failed policies. But let me tell you something, Mark. What happened today is very, very dangerous. You know, this past week at the convention, I was at the convention all week. I got to say, it's the best Republican convention I've ever seen. We were more unified than I've ever seen, but I also left very, very worried because I fear that Republicans are overconfident. There was an air of celebration, and now is not the time to celebrate. Celebrate after Election Day. Now's the time to work, and I got to say, this is very, very dangerous because we're about to see, for the next month, a month-long Democrat convention. The reason candidates get a bump out of the convention is they get tons of free media. The media is about to spend billions of dollars trying to convince the American people that Kamala is brilliant and beautiful and historic, and they are going to do such a sell job that it is dangerous. And you know what it's designed to do? Drive off the news any of the coverage of Joe Biden's open borders, of the failure of the Democrats' policies, of how American people are hurting. They want people excited about how historic this is. And so I think everyone needs to double down and go to work. That's true. We need to fight to reelect President Trump, but it's also true in Senate races. As you know, I'm running for reelection in Texas. I'm facing a very tough race. I'm Chuck Schumer's #1 target in the country. He's spending over $100 million trying to beat me. Schumer and Soros are flooding money into this race. And I got to tell you, a month of just free commercials from the corporate media for Kamala Harris and the Democrats is really, really dangerous. And so, listen, I just want to encourage your viewers, if you want to help us fight back against that, please come to tedcruz.org, tedcruz.org. That's our website. We're facing $100 million. Right now, the latest polling in this race has it as a 3-point race. Schumer wants to defeat me in Texas. And by the way, they want to defeat Donald Trump. And let me say this. If Schumer succeeds in gaining 3 points in Texas and beating me, and Trump is elected and Schumer stays majority leader, you will see Trump's agenda destroyed. You'll see his judges blocked, his cabinet blocked. So please come to tedcruz.org and support me. And we got to stand up and pull this country back from the brink.
Well, Ted Cruz, with any luck, Kamala Harris will come down there and campaign against you in Texas and see if she can complete 3 sentences.
Amen.
Maybe she'll bring the president along with her. I don't know what the hell he's going to be doing these days, but there you have it. Ted Cruz, thank you very much. God bless you, my friend.
Thanks, Mark.